Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the CVR World Cup League, race number 2 in the preseason. About 2 minutes and 45 seconds from now, the men will be getting going out on course for 4 laps of Watopia Hilly. Out on the course as well will be the women. It started in just about 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Same course as well. But quick, just some information about what the CVR World Cup is exactly. CVR World Cup has a winter season that has 2 halves, 4 weeks in each half of this league. The 3 best races from each half count towards points. Winner of each zone gets invitation to CVR World Cup Live. The winner must accept in order to be crowned and get the invitation. During this as well, we have the preseason that is currently going on, though. So during the preseason, we have 4 weeks, somewhat of a warm-up, getting used to the format, as well as getting some rankings correct, I believe, as well, in order to get everybody in the right place as far as their position or ability level goes. There's also a postseason after those 2 halves, and the postseason is a head-to-head tournament where second and third place finishers in the regular winter season will fight it out for the final invitation in a knockout style series, and anybody is allowed to help. It's kind of a cool idea around allowing teams to get involved as well. Last week had some crazy fast racing. And to join me to talk about that a little bit is going to be Mr. Quentin LaFay. Quentin LaFay, welcome to the broadcast. Men are about to get out on course here. And we already have some rankings up for this preseason, actually. I saw over at the Cyclodata for CVR World Cup.
Yeah, the first races last week were pretty crazy, and in the Europe zone. It was actually Andy Sherratt who went away in the last climb of Box Hill with the Canadian Lucas Conley. And, Conley is actually waiting for his ZETA approval. So Sherratt is actually sitting on top of the rankings. And behind him, there's Soren Bay from Denmark and Kim Little from Team Experimental.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool to see over at the CVR World Cup League's rankings that they actually have a designation next to each of the names for those who have participated in real life events actually with CVR in the past. It's a very cool little tag that you do get. But now we are getting into a virtual race right now, as you can see, as we do have the usual start getting going here from the get-go, leaving the pens. Now, this doesn't always mean a whole lot. This first section out on course, you know, it means a lot for who's going to make the initial breaks. And with 187 riders, you definitely want to make your way toward the front end of this race right now, as the riders are absolutely hammering. Power-ups flying left and right, and with big prizes on the line. They want to get those rankings as best as they possibly can early on in the preseason, actually. So 187 riders here heading out toward Watopia reverse climb right now. We also have the women's race just about to take off here, as it looks like they are just leaving the pens here. We had it looked like a little over 30 riders, I believe, jumping into the race out here right now for the women. Last week we did see Rachel Elliott just walk away with the race and was able to grab a solid 1,000 points in this preseason. Looking as well was Joanna Abbott, followed up by Rosie Whalen, and then Sarah Croucher and Anna Audebrob, who are in the A bracket amongst the women in Zone E. Now, if I go ahead and click to the B bracket, we do see it looks like Kirsty Hoyle as well as Lynn Beaumont and then Sonia Inslee. So they are being ranked in separate brackets right now, Quentin, that we are seeing for the CVR World Cup data right now. So that is probably what this preseason is all about, that there will be some upgrading going on in those rankings as we head through this 4 weeks.
Exactly. That's what the preseason is about. Like from some racers, either they haven't been racing lately on Zwift or they haven't raced at all, and so they are pretty low in the rankings. And that's the way these categories are made. It's with the results, and you have to do this preseason to figure out where you are compared to the other racers, and uh, based on that, we are going to have pretty good categories based going into the first season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so, pretty cool format actually. Also, it seems like an encouraging way to start. You know, there was always a question up front about how would we do rankings based on results, and there was always this question of, well, how do we work that out up front so that we don't have a poor experience? And having this preseason, I think, is creating a great experience for racers in order to really figure out where things stand, as well as have something on the horizon of an event to shoot toward as they get those placings figured out. And up front, we had a lot of people asking questions going, wait a second, I'm ranked where? I'm way too high or I'm way too low. And I think now that people see how things are working with these rankings, it's starting to get worked out between the riders. I'm getting some information that you can click and sort by time as well, so we're able to easily see and adjust for the regular season. Frank Garcia himself letting me know that as we go through the cycle data, you can actually take a look specifically at the different times for it looks like seasons on, or terms at least, in the cycle data actually. So it's a really great tool over at cycledata.cvr World Cup is where I'm looking at for those specific results. We will be watching the live results as well today, though, over at zwiftpower.com. They work in conjunction, actually, with CycleData and CVR World Cup to produce all of the results that you do see out here today. So I am going to go ahead and bring up the live feed, I believe. If I do, and I am able to get into it, it looks like I've got to accept the terms and conditions, as I guess I have not done that yet. I'll go ahead and do that and grab the terms and conditions. We'll be able to get into the live racing here for all you boys and girls here as we are getting into the races. It brought me to my profile. We don't want to see Nathan's race profile. We want to see the riders who are out on course right now. We do have live data coming through from the men. I'll bring up the women's here in just a moment. But as far as the big hitters, a lot of them showed up today. Now, last week's winner, Andy Sherritt, that's going to be my question. Is he going to be in the race as he showed up for this, as well as we are seeing, it looks like, fourth place from last week. I did see Goran out there. I did see, I believe, Soren Bay up toward the front end of the race just a moment ago. Anybody new this week, and any predictions that might be different this week, Quentin, because of the change up in the course? I mean, it is going to be is it a little bit different? Is it exactly the same? Last week we had. Which course were we on last week? Were we on Four Leaps?
It is very different because last week we were on London.
Box Hill. We were on Box Hill.
On the London Loop on Box Hill. So today is going to be very different and very open because the reverse KOM is one of the most open races you can have on Zwift because everyone gets a little bit of something. The sprinters, the climbers, the punchers, and everyone gets a chance to break away or to wait for the right moment. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this peloton works it out.
Yeah, so because of the drafting up and over the top of the climb, it definitely has a little bit more. I mean, there's an opportunity. That's the thing. When they hit this up front here, when they first hit this climb, there is an opportunity to break things apart, but it's a short punch, 30, 40 seconds or so. And then they have that drafting section all the way over through, the middle end of the climb. And then there's one more punch over the top. But you can press the pedals from the bottom to the top. A lot of times, though, somebody will hang on to your wheel. And like you're saying, it's a very open race. There's a lot of opportunity both to, if you can, hang on, but at the same time, if you can kick hard enough, you can break things apart. So it's definitely, like you said, very open race here. Now we do see Adam Webb, Drujan as well up towards the front here. Zaranko coming from Team Poland. Unfamiliar with this racer, actually. Be interesting to see how Zaranko ends up turning out here amongst the racers. Team Poland starting to show up more and more in force here. Jonathan Levy up to the front from the KRT team. You're watching out for him, maybe on this little bit of a climber's course. Aaron Locks here as well for One Love up to the front. We are seeing Jay Herman here from Vision coming out of Germany, starting to hammer away as well. No Tron bike coming from him, though. Looks like maybe a little bit newer racer to the world of Zwift. You got information on that there, Quentin?
Yeah, Johannes is one of the latest recruits, and he's he's an elite rider from Germany, and he rides semi-pro. And it's a bit newer to Zwift than some of the racers, but from what I've seen so far, it's pretty good.
Yeah, we are seeing him as a new recruit, it looks like, coming out of Germany. He does have, it looks like, Drujan next to him, also looking to hang on to the wheels. Met class coming up now. Commissar is there as well, so it looks like Vision's starting to populate the front end of this race a little bit. Team Poland here represented solo. Now KRT, though, with the counterattack. Levy now up in that 10 watts per kilogram. This is not messing around today. I think Jonathan might be really trying to show a little bit of strength at the front end of this pack, try and break things up a little bit more, maybe knowing that a few at the back end of this group right now may be suffering, trying to just hang on. 181 beats per minute from Szynski. Looks like Team Poland does have at least two up toward the front. Moving back, we do have MacD TFC. Also, Franken's there. Drujan, we're going to see Kate Vanna coming from Race WBR. McCormick here from the BRT team. Is he the solo BRT rider? No, there is one up front a little ways here. It is Franken there who is riding for the BRT. Going to see if we can spot another BRT kit there in this group. It does look like it is going to be those two, plus there was one other I did see up ahead. We'll see if we can spot the name on the other rider there. Now moving backwards, though. Oh yeah, and it is going to be Sherritt there.
McGonigal.
Is it?
No, Sherritt is not BRT. It's McGonigal. I think for BRT, the third BRT rider. Sherritt is on OVB or something like that. A team in 3 riders.
Gotcha. So we are seeing McGonagall here, as you were saying, from the BRT team. So 3 up front there. Toby McTobeface there, little ways toward the back, just hanging on as they come up and over the top of the climb. Still a huge amount of riders at a 3:32 over the top of the climb right now. One Love now starting to press the pedals a little bit over the top, though, maybe trying to make a move on one section of this course that is always interesting, that there are these attacks that cause the group to split a lot of times on the downhill. Quentin, right here, I think there's a lot of opportunity taken if they do have the power to do so on this section of the course. Now, it does look like there was a split because of it, too. 8 seconds immediately opening up like that. Very difficult to bring that back.
Yeah, the splits often happen at that moment because at the top of the KOM, you got the string, and the peloton is very wide, and you have a lot of riders just barely hanging on. And if they lose the draft from the people right in front of us, it's going to create a gap very fast because there's the speed is different. It's going to grow between the groups, and you are going to come down at the bottom of the descent and find yourself 10 seconds back, and it will be almost too late to come back.
Yeah, and so the with that attack now, we are moving back over toward the women, as it does look like there is that 8-second gap with the men. We'll leave them for a moment now, as the women's breakups in the main group are starting to take place here, as we are seeing, it looks like Waylon up toward the front. Ingmo here as well. K Falk there off the front from Vision Cycling. Ingmo is there, it looks like. Now we are getting a couple of dropouts here and there. We'll see if we can keep everybody within sight here, but it does look like we are being bounced around a little bit. It does look like the new Vixen team is out in force right now. From what I can tell, though, it will be Kona Bear now trying to chase down Falk. 21 seconds up, it looks like. Engel from PTZ right now, right on the wheel. Jansen is there as well, and we are seeing Highland. Looks like Inslee there and Apperheim now. And so we're going to see if we can stay with the riders. It does look like we are getting a little bit of some craziness within the event right now. Hopefully the rest of the riders are not experiencing the same thing that we are seeing out on course right now, and able to see everybody's feeds just fine. As I continue to move forward here, we'll see if we can find it. And perhaps I am seeing Jonathan Noblet in the broadcast. Maybe he can clip this and see that this is still taking place. And I'll just send him a couple of dots there with as we move through the broadcast here. So moving forward now, we're going to see Jay Beiser here in the B category, 31 seconds back from this chase group. And now disappears again. This is back in the 138th place. We'll just hype Michael Szymanski there from the KRT team in the C category. Followed up by Stitchberry. And it looks like, is that actually Jeremiah Bishop in the race right now? Let's see, jeremiahbishop.com. With the verified badge, actually. I wonder if he's allowing things to go a little bit and then trying to chase him back down. 145 beats per minute, though, from Bishop there. Maybe not working too incredibly hard, as we are seeing at a pretty low heart rate. Interesting to see. Maybe we'll just have a little chat with chat here as we wait to have a race in front of us, as we wait for things to calm down with the dropouts we are seeing out on course right now. Let's go ahead and see chat. You got any questions, answers, comments, or just general ribbing towards our attempt at making a race out of this another dimension right now? And so looking through here, Thorne saying, well, the fastest race I did see today was Justin's race. They did it at 51 minutes. Don't know what the other group have done. Before the race, I did never think I could do under 1 hour race, but did 59:30. Pretty happy with that. With a crap in my calf on the last hill, had to drop back. But still happy with my race. Nice job there. Bishop for the win. Yep. So Kim Little is in there over on the Facebook group. Looks like Jeremiah Bishop logging in and racing the CVR World Cup race here. I am trying to get back to his avatar. Looks like he's traveling to another dimension out here as well. Moving forward, though, let's go ahead and see if we can find the front end of this race, as I believe on this section of the course, it doesn't have quite as many problems. Maybe we'll have to see if we can find it. Nathan, lowest KOM time prediction coming from G Leo there. I believe the lowest time, I don't know. Quentin, I'm going to throw that one at you quick. I think they might have gone pretty close to the fastest on the day. There might be a sub 3:30 though.
No, today was the Aaron Lux who got the KOM on the first climb, and he was in 332 with Adam Webb. With Adam Webb, I was just saying right behind, but they're tied. But 332, and it's like maybe 6 seconds behind the fastest lap we've seen on a race, which is 326 by Ian Beebe a couple of weeks ago. Well, a couple of months ago, actually, because it was back in September, if I recall right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So, I mean, today, not sure we're going to see faster than a 326 up and over the top. Now, for them to do that, I think they would have to be a little bit more committed to the climb. You know, up front, a lot of times they do not attack full on from the old shed there on the right hand side next to the bridge. So unless they attack full on from the get-go, coming with a ton of speed, when we saw Bibby throw that 326 down, it was full on 8 watts per kilogram, 10 watts per kilogram, right around that area for the run-in. And then as well, all the way through the top of the first little kick on the climb. Then he held at about 6 to 7 all the way to the very, very top of the climb. So if we're going to see a 326 again, we would have to see a full commitment. They may be able to beat it if they were to work together to do so, I think, in that 324 rate. Now, we are seeing a couple of strong climbers out here, though. Jay Levy, I know for sure that he can throw down a solid 6.0 or so like that from the bottom to the top of the climb, up into 6.5, even 7. So we'll have to see, perhaps, as a climber, we could see him throw down some huge wattage to try and bring back, try and get the best time on the day. So looking through here, but sometime today, Giglio's saying not this race, but sometime today. Johan Wallstrom saying 328. And Leo thinks that he thinks we'll see a 320. So we'll have to see if he's right about that. Good to see Sushi Salmon saying, I have like 5 streams open right now and my computer is mining Ethereum. Oh my goodness. Leo, take a break after today. Giglio, it sounds like already raced once today, according to chat. I also saw him race the WBR4 last night. So he's jumping out on the race course awful lot. Now Locks here up toward the front, 7.0 watts per kilogram. Maybe talking a little bit or thinking a little bit about what we are chatting about here with the fastest time as he takes up the front end of this climb right now. But he does get countered here by Levy here, 186 beats per minute. Herman's there as well, 9.1 watts per kilogram, 169 beats per minute here. Locks now trying to follow that up, countering that quickly. One Love versus Vision up toward the front here. KRT here following up with 10 watts per kilogram, 192 beats per minute. Share it there as well. Current leader in the preseason. Trying to grab back onto the wheel here. It looks like Webb, though, and then Vanna. Bruno Vieira, they're 1 second back. This is a little bit of a split. May stick here, Quentin, if they can kick it a little bit more through this section. Do you think they'll have the continues to make something happen here? As it does look, Locks is fairly committed to this move.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if the first 4 or 5 guys can stick to that break. And well, it doesn't seem like it, but the 2 guys in front will have a hard time getting that peloton to stay back. But we see Mathieu Drujon working right behind Vieira to keep him from coming back on Jonas, and we see Espen as well right in his wheel. And well, it's going to be interesting to see what the KOM time will be, because well, if someone or something can break the 326 of Bibi, it's well, I can only think of the Blob to beat that time. And that might be the only way.
And now looking like you said, Locks, though, up toward the front here. Earlier, he did take that fastest time over the top so far, along with his teammate Webb, both tied at that 32.7. But the chase group here from behind, will they be able to bring back that 5 seconds? And even if they don't, on the downhill, these boys are going to be put into a world of pain to try and hold off, like you said, the Blob out on course here today here. But it is the solid 5.5, 5.4, now 6.0. They got a little reprieve for a moment there. I think that's going to slow it down enough that they're probably not going to be getting a faster time. It is no longer, they're going to have to kick continually over 6 watts per kilogram in order to hold on to, now kicking back in that 6.9 to 7 there, maybe be able to do this. We are bringing them back little by little. The cake is lie. James Hodges himself here trying to make something happen here. It does look like Petting there as well from the MTCTC moving forward now. Soren Bay hanging on the wheel. It does look like Lenuenhoven. It does look like there is a solid chase group now, as We move in a little bit, and it looks like it has whittled down, though, with Franken on the back there. Drujan is there as well. One other One Love rider there toward the back end of the race. I believe that is going to be Webb. Up toward the front, though, again, let's go ahead and see the kick over the top for that. Fastest time maybe on the day. Herman continues to go 6.5 watts per kilogram, 162 beats per minute now. And it looks like the time will be still seeing 334 on the day. So not better in the first time up over the top. Two alone there. And I think that might have something to do with it without the pack there to work together. Will they stay away though? Do they have the continuance in order to do so? We are seeing Peter Trzynski. They're saying there was a disconnect, though. Perhaps Trzynski having some of the similar problems that we were having earlier, perhaps, or maybe just a disconnect from his trainer there. So a little bit of a mechanical there, it looks like, for Team Poland. And only going to, well, he's actually still in there. So I think perhaps he had something similar to what we saw with the disappearance out on course there, because he is still there.
No, it wasn't the same one. It was Trzynski with a T that had the mechanical.
Oh, thank you.
It wasn't the same one.
Yep, we are seeing it there. It's 53 seconds back. All I saw was their Zinski in the name there. But yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate for the correction there. We are seeing McTobe face off the back there along with Trzynski. So looking through here, it does seem to be about 22 riders, I believe, in this lead group still, with 2 laps to go. So let's see if we can jump into the women's race. We did have a couple of jump arounds into what we're calling the disconnect dimensions here. I believe it is K Falk still off the front there. Coach Ruby is in there as well. Looking through from Peaks training group, Angmo and Falk, but I'm still getting some jump around here, boys and girls. So I'm going to do my best to try and grab every one of the racers and get a good position for them out on course. We'll just allow it to jump around a little bit as they disappear, but we'll use zwiftpower.com to get a good idea of where things are at with the women as we try and keep them in the view here. So looking through for the women's current race on the live tab, we are seeing it is going to be, Kristen Falk off the front there with a solid 39 seconds last time through. Looks like Dame Ruby there as well for Team Experimental. And then it will be Carrie Conabear. They're all together, though, in a chase group of looks to be 7 riders. Steve Ingmo's in there. Tilda Hyland. Ing Jansen is in there as well. Rosie Wayland. It will be Sylvie Holmes, Carrie Conabear, and Dame Ruby all working together. Trying to bring back Kristen Falk, actually. About 39 seconds is what she's got on the group at this point. Trying to walk away on her own. Can she, will she be able to hold on to this gap now? There's a solid chase group. We're going to back. I'm not sure how well they are working together, though, in order to do so. It does look like Highland here on the attack. Perhaps Wayland, Conabear, Ruby all together. Not quite able to see whether or not Highland is in and amongst that group right now, as they do have a couple of disappearances still taking place in front of me here.
Yeah, we see a couple of very good riders on that front group. We see Conabear and Ruby, as well as Janssen, who were all in CVR events, whether it was Paris or London. We also saw Rosie Wayland, who was, if I recall right, one of the semi-finalists in the Zwift Academy last year. And we got Kristen Falk on the front, and the interesting thing with Falk is that she was actually several times on the podium in the Masters World Championships on the road. So she might be one to count with, and it's gonna be difficult for the group to come back to her.
And so perhaps Now, we aren't seeing the kind of numbers, though, that we are seeing from like the likes of Rachel Elliott, though. I mean, if Elliott obviously not showing up today, it looks like, I mean, it's preseason, though. Maybe just getting a warm-up last week. It'll be interesting to see if we do find somebody that can challenge the likes of Rachel Elliott there. Falk on the front here, though. 4.9 watts per kilometer. She has done a solid 4.0 all the way through the race so far here. Looks like the Vixen team, though, trying to turn the screws up toward the front here. It does look like Coach Ruby there as well riding for Training Peaks group. And then it will be Jansen there. Also, the Knight of Sufferlandia and Vixen rider, though, working together with Wayland now, taking up the back of this group. So still 7 riders, it looks like here. No, 6 riders, excuse me. Did it actually lose one there, maybe? As they're making their way up to the top. 1, 2, 3. Nope, we were just losing one to another dimension there for a moment. So it is 7 riders still making the chase. It looks like a minute 33. Falk now going to 0 watts per kilogram on the downhill, allowing herself to rest up a little bit as she uses that descent going into lap number 2. So that is the current situation for the chase group with the women. We do have another chase group containing Thompson with BRT with a little bit of attack actually over Inslee. And then it looks like 38 seconds back it will be again. And then Oppenheim here as well as Odibrab here out of Spain trying to bring back that group that has split completely, it looks like, up front on this climb. So it will be Thompson from BRT able to get about 4 seconds over Inslee. If Inslee does not kick right now, she will not be able to bring that back, I believe, as it is a solo chase. There is no group or peloton in order to work with at this point. So, but now 3.1 on the front here, 180 beats per minute from Thompson. Go ahead and give her a ride on as she makes that chase in solo effort to try and bring back maybe a few who do fall off from the front end of this group right now with 2 laps to do. 2 minutes up. I believe Falk might have walked away with this, barring a complete blow up today out on course. So solid effort here from her so far. Back in with the men, though. We do have, it does look like the same group here, but the chase is interesting. Trzynski here and McToeface here, about 9 seconds back. It looks like Trzynski here trying to break him, actually, rather than work with him. Will be another rider out of Poland here. It looks like Mike Majewski then, as well as MR from the WBR, V Mail there from KRT, and R Simpson. I believe that these riders most likely will bring back, actually, Trzynski and McToeface. But Trzynski at that solid 4.9 here, 4.8. Maybe going to be able to get into a mode of TT effort here. And if these boys are not that interested in bringing that back, maybe they will not see them again, but it's still always difficult to hold off that peloton, especially when you're in solo TT modes. We do see Toby here as well as Trzynski. Trzynski seems on a mission, though, here, Quentin. Can he stay away or even maybe bring back a peloton that calms down up front?
Well, it's going to be very difficult because he's alone right now. He's a minute and a half behind the first peloton. And, well, the group behind is only 20 seconds behind. There's still 2 climbs to go. And I think it's most likely he gets caught at some point maybe in the final lap. But maybe now he just wants to, now that he knows that the race is over, maybe he just wants a good workout and maybe give them a run for their money as well. I mean, you never know. And maybe he got a little bit frustrated with that technical he had. And yeah, he might be going just for a good workout now.
There may be a few, up front, if you burn too many matches going with riders and you're way over your effort, there may be a few that might fall off the pace up the front here. It's still a huge group, and there might be some just hanging on at this point. Trzynski might be able to grab a few spots as riders drop like flies from the front end of this group as the pace starts to heat up again here. 8.6 watts per kilogram on the front here. Herman going again right along with One Love. We're seeing some predictions coming through here, and Johnny Noblet letting us know that it's going to be Locks for the win, followed by Levy and then Vieira. We'll see if that is a correct prediction there. We are, again, every time we come over the top of the climb here, it seems like, and I believe that might, now I could be right, I could be wrong, but in the past, when I would leave a rider, I believe very early on in Watopia, there was another situation where we would get jumped around a little bit. And it was always on sections that were near. Now, if you look at Watopia from right here, I'll show you guys here real quick. Now, it's trying to get me back to those riders. We'll see if we can get near them. But I'm going to show you guys my theory on what is happening here, because it always takes place when we are near the other sides of courses here, right? So over here, we are near a lot of other riders, actually. But they are on a section of course that goes by this section of course. So over by the giant, what we call alien statues, the two bike riding statues over there, right on the other side of there is where Ocean Boulevard, or not Ocean Boulevard, but the start finish line section is right down the hill there, as well as the riders that are going downhill on the other and uphill on the other side of the Watopia climb are going right near there as well. When you have convergence of a lot of riders near each other, sometimes in events it seems like it tries to find maybe people, but I may be totally incorrect about that. But it seems like we get more of these situations like this near sections that do have convergence between different roads there. But that's just a theory of mine. I might be totally way off. So many races with so much experience, and no one has worked out the limitless power up yet. Amateurs there, Jonathan Noblet is saying as well. We are seeing Jeremiah Bishop, though, professional rider here, out on course, mountain bike professional, actually multi-time national champion. Good to see him jumping out on course there, getting a workout amongst the racers right now. Still looking for the front end of this race. Not sure we're going to find it. I think we do have a solid, consistent connection to the women's race. Let's go ahead and jump in with them here, as we do have Falk here, 146, and nope, we do not. I was incorrect. So looking through here now, Falk though, Engmo, Holmes, Waylon. You know, maybe this is just a good time to talk about what's going on with the CVR World Cup, as well as CycleView. I did have some information come through from CVR and about a new software that they're launching here, CycleView new level of engagement. And looking through here, it said that CycleView is a new level of engagement. It is about instantaneous choice, giving the viewer the ability listening to casters and seeing what they are highlighting, but also being able to watch individual riders and their views. And so CycleView is in beta currently, but they are looking to ensure solid streaming from many streamers from all over the globe. They look forward to provide you with more choice and more features in the coming weeks. So you can check out CycleView. They are a part of the CVR platform, the Cyclogent platform, which they are developing to deliver awesome events. Looks like training tools, as well as obviously the CVR World Cup leagues. I mean, they're just all about doing all things virtual cycling with Zwift right now here. So it does look like this women's race is fairly decided here up toward the front of this pack right here, but there are a couple battles here working out behind here. It does look like it is going to be Wayland Conabear as well as Highland Egmo. 137 though, you know, that's been brought back. It was out to 2 minutes plus at one point. Perhaps starting to fade a little bit with only a lap and a half. This is lap and a half, 140, Quentin. Might be able to bring something back here if she fades. I mean, we were seeing over 4.0 for a lot of this race here. And now dropping to 3.5, maybe a little bit of rest up with 170. I'm not sure she's resting at this point.
Well, it might be just managing the gap actually, because making it stable over the couple of bumps you got up the road at this point, because as we know, the gap is measured with with the distance separating the riders, so it fluctuates a little bit. And right now it's back to 155. So I think it's just now for Kristin about managing the gap, maybe not giving everything in the third lap, and maybe waiting for the last climb or whatever. to manage the effort and to make sure she doesn't have that cracking we talked about earlier, and to make sure she can stay up front, because the group behind her is still scary, because there's a lot of riders and there's a lot of good riders that can come back at any time. And 2 minutes for a group of 6 or 7 on a lone rider can be bridged back in 10 kilometers, and especially when there's two consequent climbs in it. So Kristin is not done with her race just yet, but she's still in a very good way to go and take the win.
Yeah, I think you get into this mode a lot of times in race situations like this, where, like you said, the management of the gap, the making sure that it's a management of your own personal effort at those points too. A lot of times where you're just making sure you don't go so hard that you get into just where you have to just find that sweet spot of holding the highest power you possibly can all the way through 172, 173 beats per minute. Now, a lot of times when you hit climbs like this that you're seeing right here at this moment, you need to, though, travel as fast, or at least right near as fast, the group that's chasing you. But you don't get the reprieve. You don't get the rest going into it like a lot of the riders that are working together and sitting in. And they're able to kick very hard to bring back some time, Quentin. I mean, there is that idea of managing the climbs well as well. And that's always one of the most difficult parts, I think, of being in a breakaway situation where you don't have a large group in order to rest at all, is how hard do you go over the climbs? Because the time can be brought back very quickly if you do not travel up on the top. You are seeing 110 or so already. They chipped away at it a little bit there, 4.3 watts per kilogram, but that's just from the speed of Kristin right now. But if they kick into 5-6 watts per kilogram over that section, they'll bring back a solid 30 seconds pretty quick, as she only traveled at 4.4 because she wasn't able to rest up. She was at threshold all the way over the top there. Always a difficult management there because you're unable to kick the same way at the group, Quentin.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, the gap will grow bigger as Kristin goes into the descent. But it's going to be interesting to see how the chasing group reacts in this climb, because some of the riders might feel a little bit better than others, and we could see splits happen as they are trying. Well, they might be already starting to think about the podium now for place 2 and 3. And there are still quite a lot of riders in that group, and maybe some of the non-sprinters will try to make something happen in this climb and maybe in the next one, I think.
So looking through here, we are seeing this solid chase, but I think the chase, perhaps though, as you're saying, Quentin, with the working together behind here and being, management of efforts all the way through, I think they're starting to think about second place and no longer working together at this point, right? At this point, there's going to be one lap to go and 149 up. She's kind of gone at this point, and I think the attacks are starting to take place, and we're starting to see some of the gaps open up. And out of this group, for these women, from what do you know about them, who do you think might be able to get away, take that second place, or maybe not looking for a sprint, looking to not be, not be with this group any longer? Who's going to try and get away here? Who's going to be looking for a sprint amongst these riders?
Well, it's very difficult to say, because they are all very different type of riders, and I mean, a lot of them are very confident in their ability, and it's difficult because you have, I think, 3 of the Vixen rider, or just 2 of the Vixen rider. You have PTZ represented. You have, after that it's lone riders, but it's very difficult. They might be fearing a little bit Inge Janssen, because she's a very good sprinter, but Carrie Conaber is also a very known figure of the the Zwift racing scene. And well, it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe we saw Ruby and Highland a little bit of the back before they came back. Well, they came back just now, so maybe they are going to try something different on the next lap, and maybe try to surprise the group a little bit. But the thing with women racing is that you don't see as many bursts as you see in the men races. So it's much more difficult to have someone going away from a group, and you see that much less often. And it's going to be interesting to see if one of them is able to do that to break away.
So, amongst this group here, my prediction here would be maybe Coach Ruby looking to sit in for a sprint here amongst the women. Like you're saying, Carrie Cronenberg, always a threat, especially for a final attack there. Vixen there, perhaps both of them try to get away at some point there. Waylon there, it looks like Ingmo PTZ, I think, hanging on, perhaps. 255 up to Kristen at this point. I don't believe she's going to be caught or seen again in this, but maybe Vixen with their new team formation here, looking to show up with a little bit of a little bit of a show here today to try and make a stamp here on the racing scene for the new team. It does look like Highland may be a wild card amongst the group there, as well as Holmes is in there for Z Sun. I wouldn't be counting her out, but I do think you're correct there. Carrie Cronenberg there, maybe one of the favorites amongst the group here to be watching out for the W on the day. It does look like the Vixen team has chosen to jump into the elite kit actually out on Zwift that they're using. It's actually a pretty sweet looking setup there with the double Tron bikes, 2 pink Tron bikes, pinkish looking Tron bikes there along with that elite kit that is on here. All right, we're back in with the men. It does look like I was able to bring in their feed for the race. I ended up in the pens there for a moment or two, but it is going to be Jonathan Levy up to the front here with Bay here, right along with Herman, and then it looks like Nieuwenhoven, Vanna there, as well as Thomas there still hanging on Metcalf. Will be Bernavera. Andy Sherritt, the current leader in the preseason, right along with, moving back here, looks like Strzezinski able to hang on. Locks is there. Webb as well as Swart. So this is the lead group now. And solid effort from them. I feel like there might be one off the front, but no, there is not. It looks like it is going to be Vera Annabelle. I don't think anybody got away from these boys just yet, though. But they are halfway up over the top of the climb here. This is the final as we move into it. And any predictions here for the men's race? The women's, you're saying maybe not going to get any breaks just yet. What do you think amongst the men here? Who's got the kick to maybe get away up on the top here, perhaps, or at least be able to grab a sprint? I'm not sure that there is going to be a break that gets away at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This might be the very last climb if I counted right, and you need like almost 20 seconds up over the climb to have a shot at staying away from the peloton. And now we see Johannes Herman going for it, and yeah, if someone can do that, it might be one of these.
He's got a solid 10 seconds already. 8.4 watts per kilogram here coming from Jonas Herman. Absolutely killing it. And it looks like with that 11 seconds right now, he may be getting away from the group right now. 13 seconds. I'm not sure he's going to be seen again here, Quentin, with that kind of a kick up on the top of the climb here. Solid effort here coming from Herman. It looks like. Not sure it's going to be happening here with that kind of an effort at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Now we will see if he can hold on to this gap over the descent, and because the peloton is going to come crazy quick on the bottom of the climb, and they're going to sprint very fast.
But here, Quentin, the prediction. did Leo get it correct? He said 322. Was that Leo? That said it'd be a 322 up on the top, and he actually did have assistance from the group, and he attacked out of the group. So, the assistance up over the top, you said the blob was the only thing that can make it happen. 23 seconds. I don't think that's coming back at this point.
Yeah, the guys in the front of the group seems to have let it go. They just let him go, and he might be walking away with this one. And now it's going to come down to...
I mean, 25 seconds, they're back to Petite there out of Switzerland. Levy here, 183. I think he has broken the group at this point. 6.9 watts per kilometer, continually non-stop attack here coming from Herman. He might push over the 5.0 mark there today here and need to submit some approvals there, as they've been really good about it lately. But at 7.8 continually here, I have a feeling he might jump over the top of 5.0 for the duration with this attack. Actually, we'll have to see if that ends up on the board. That'll be up to the race organizers and what they are seeing here. But we are seeing Levy here with a counter attack there. It looks like trying to hold on, it looks like. And 12.9 watts per kilogram. Herman here, 8.8 watts per kilogram. Still holding on to a solid effort. 192 beats per minute. Absolutely burying himself at the front end of this group here. Trying to hold on. It is going to be 11 seconds. He's got it. But it was almost closed down, actually. Look at how quickly that group chases him right on. But it will be Drujan here down, followed up by, I believe Levy just nipped it, followed up by, it looked like Commissar there, I believe. So solid effort all around from the riders across the line. Wanted to bring in the instant replay, boys and girls. I was unable to do so because of our dropouts there. It did have a disconnect between something there for our feed. But we'll go ahead and bring in the women's finish here as well. They make their way through the SEs here, and then we'll bring in the results for the riders. 322, Johan Wolstrom. Leo says, told you guys. Nice job, Leo, on that prediction. Solid effort. I do see a lot of new faces over at the Twitch channel. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in over there. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that follow button over on Twitch. That is the place for all things Zwift Community live streams. If you have not seen Zwift before, this is actually real riders on real bikes putting out real power, as the women are finishing up their race here with about a half a lap to go. We do see Kristen Falk coming out of Norway, so she's actually most likely over in Norway, hammering away on her trainer right now with real power, real heart rate in order to push this avatar forward. And the way that this is actually working is this rider is producing power on a bike in which it is communicated through either a power meter, a smart trainer, or a speed sensor. This looks to be most likely, this is going to be a smart trainer or a power meter. A lot of racing requires actually that you do have a very verifiable source of power. And so we do see on the right hand side of the course here, this little lightning bolt there saying that she is using a real power meter source out on course here, but it is communicating then the power that you would need in real life in order to push that avatar forward out on course. And if they are using a smart trainer, they do feel the uphill gradients actually out there, but it doesn't actually matter whether or not you feel this. Power is power. And so the same power that is needed to climb any of the climbs out there on Watopia that they're currently doing, this climb out here that she's about to do, the reverse Watopia for 417 is the fastest time she's had up on the top. The same power to climb that climb is going to be, power to weight ratio is going to be needed between all of the riders actually at the speeds that they are going to be able to handle. So real deal racing, virtual cycling, massive multiplayer online, all these are real riders. This isn't just single riders all by them lonesome racing against fake individuals. These are real people from all over the world, all interacting in this virtual space, racing each other with these avatars right now. Pretty amazing situation that we have in front of us. 166 beats per minute currently from Kay Falk here, demolishing herself to try and hang on to this gap. I think it is just a management of this gap at this point. It's all about the race for second place right now, as it looks like this group still hasn't been blown apart by anybody at this point, Quentin. Who's going to be the first to go? My prediction is Carrie Conabear, actually. She usually gets a little antsy and tries to break things apart. Or perhaps they'll send one off the front, actually, from the Vixen team there with perhaps Jansen with an attack followed up. Will they play a little cat and mouse? Will there be a little bit of team tactics here from the Vixen team?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they play this one out. But one we haven't talked too much about is Holmes from Canada, who's still in that group, and we haven't talked a lot about her just yet. And she might be one of the wild cards in that last climb. And
Yeah, I've been watching out for her.
Yeah, they have to be watching out because well, her heart rate is not quite up there just yet, and it's going to be interesting to see what she can put out to counter maybe some of the favorites out there.
Yeah, actually, let's go ahead and take a look here at some of the past results for Holmes, as that is a really great point on not being super familiar with who the rider is, and if she perhaps could be a little bit of an upset here today. As I look through some of the past results, Sylvie Holmes here out of Canada riding for the Z Sun team, 89 races out on Zwift, actually. Mainly D and C category races, though, we're seeing. So it looks like maybe hanging in amongst some of, well, we are seeing B category races out there as well. These are actually social rides, excuse me, not races. Those are not races. They're all social rides. We are seeing a couple races all in the B category. We have seen as high as a 3.6 from her in EVR Europe race, actually. The highest heart rate that we've seen from her, I believe, is up into, I'm not seeing anything about the maxes there. I think up into the 180s, though, maybe at one point. High 160s, though, for sure. So I believe she is fairly maxed out at this point. We'll see if she can hang on, as we do see Coach Ruby making her way toward the front now. And Highland there as well. Maybe another wild card to be watching out for. Unfamiliar with this rider coming out of Sweden, actually. Tilden Highland. We're going to go ahead and open up her, we'll open up one race, actually, only one race. WVR 3 laps, took 20th place in it, I think, amongst all of the riders, as it was not split by gender, it looks like there at all. So it does look like maybe somebody watching out, but it will be Wayland here up in that 5.57 watts per kilometer. This is a serious attack here coming from Wayland right now. Will she be able to hold on to this pace, though, as she kicks up on the top of this? Rosie Wayland here riding unattached. She's got 10 races out on Zwift. Looks like took a third place last week in the first race in Zone F, actually, though. So looking through these results, I'm not sure if she's actually a part of this zone's rankings, actually. As I look through here, she took third place in Zone F. If I look through for Zone F, that was up against some solid racers, but I am not seeing any. She was actually ranked, I believe, not in the rankings, though, in the Zone F, actually. But according to ZwiftPower.com, I am seeing that she was a part of that Zone F race there, but second place looks to be hers at this point with that 12 seconds already over the top of the other riders. Solid effort there coming from her. Kristen still up front there, 4.1 watts per kilometer, but Wayland looks like maybe walking away with this one at this point. Interesting to see. Very different situation this week, Quentin, from a lot of the races in the past. A lot of times you do see a sprint effort at the end of the day out on the Watopia reverse climbs racing here, but it looks like these racers have a little extra motivation to try and get away today.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and as we said at the beginning of the broadcast, is that on this course it's pretty much open to everyone, and it's up to the riders to make things happen on this course. And today they made something different happen, and that's very good because now people are going to realize that the breaking away is still possible on that course where the sprint finish was pretty much a given for a lot of them. So it's going to be interesting to see, well, from now on, how this plays out, because now they see that it's possible to break away, and well, even for the women, the race today was pretty different, and we see the group just now splitting a little bit, with Johnson being dropped at the back of the group, and some splits happening
Oh,
as well.
interesting.
So
That is actually unexpected, actually, to see the other Vixen rider going off the back here, and Carrie Vixen, the other Vixen rider here, trying to hang on to Angmo, who's actually starting to turn the screws at the front here at 4.0. Will this be able to cause another break for thirds? Lots of breaks taking place today, Quentin. I mean, one after another. A lot of motivation looks like here being caused by these women here to try and really push the pace right now.
yeah, you got a lot more motivation in that kind of race, because, well, first, it's only once a week, and the preseason is only 4 races. Meanwhile, in the other type of Zwift races, you have maybe a little bit less motivation, because if you don't do well, you can race next day or even the next hour, and it's just like, yeah, I'll do better next time. And in that kind of race, there is not much next time, if there is one. So the motivation is very present.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's so much more on the line with races like this, proving yourself for the results, getting the rankings correct as well, making sure that you're ranked well out of the preseason into the main season is always a big deal. So we do see our winner here today. That is going to be Kristen Falk here across the line for Vision Cycling. Solid job to her in the race, moving backwards, hopefully back to the rest of the women out on course here. I'm not sure we're going to get them quickly, but we will get back to them in just a moment here. Hopefully we can grab, I should have just said good job to Kristen. We know she's up there as we are trying to get back to the racers here. Perhaps nope. James, not going to happen there. Casplin CVR, good job. C Asplin as well. Du Bois, good job to you as well as we continue to move backwards here. Broadcaster tools, boys and girls. So let's keep on going. D Anderson here, Stitchbury here. Now we are seeing it was a solid 2 minutes here. Jackson. And now, are we with the men? Get out of the men's race. And suddenly stuck there as well. Hopefully, Blom is going to get us out of the race with the men here. And we can hopefully get back to the race with the women as they come across the line. But I have a feeling most of the riders who are still finishing up around the course here are probably going to be a part of the race. So we might keep on getting stuck in that situation. Here we go. Waylon, we've got her across the line, 5.7 watts per kilogram. Unable to really watch, but it was going to be Ruby here across the line, just barely able to catch it. Vixen coming across, followed up by Holmes. Holmes, solid effort there, actually. Cross the line from her. We'll see if we can actually see a quick little replay of that. I apologize, everybody watching the stream. I'm working with what I've got here with the current tools here, but it doesn't look like as they came across the line. It was, and that is really loud. Oh my goodness, the replay is way too loud. Let's go ahead and bring that down. As we are seeing, this is going to be the finish here coming from Ruby as she came across the line, but the Vixen rider, I believe, came flying right on by here at the right toward the end. Let's go ahead and see if we can bring this back up here real quickly, as she was just nipped at the line there, I believe. Did we actually get the full replay? Nope, we're not getting the full replay. Yeah, there we go. So it is going to be Wayland, Coach Ruby, just barely at the line there, nipped by Kona Bear. Ingmo then almost able to come by, but it was going to be Holmes. They're trying to grab that next spot, but it was Ruby able to hold on to third. And then the Z-Sun rider coming across the line in fourth, followed up by Angmo in fifth there. Solid result there. And as you were saying, kind of a wild card situation a little bit there with, you know, a little bit unexpected there from the Z-Sun rider there. Waylon there absolutely killing it, able to hold on to the gap that she got originally with that attack over the top of the reverse Watopia kind. Waylon there, second place. It looks like Carrie Cronenberg third. And then it was Ruby there, fourth, followed by Holmes in fifth, Steve Angmo in sixth, and then Tilda Hyland in seventh. Ing Jansen takes down that eighth place on the day. So for the men, was it what was expected here? What do you think between the men there? I mean, with that attack from Herman, I was not actually expecting that at all. The German rider out there, 4.9 watts, become right on the edge of that 5.0. We'll have to see if he does get a little bit of a knock on the door from the boys over at Zada. You think they're going to approach him there, Quentin?
Well, I would think so, actually. Well, I don't know where they are because a couple of weeks ago they had a lot of work to do with a couple of riders, and I don't know where they are on these subjects. But I think it would be legitimate to see, well, to see some verification on Johannes, and I'm pretty confident on what kind of number he's putting out because he's got the road numbers to back that up. Actually, one thing about Vision is that we always background check our riders before getting them in. So for any rider, we are pretty confident about saying that they are legit, and that if they need data verification, we know they are going to pass.
Yeah, and then even if that does have any kind of a situation where there could be, I think there's a lot of teams that do that as well. I mean, I know that Team Experimental keeps a tight ship. I mean, in the past, though, all the teams, I want to say one thing. In the past, all the teams have struggled in some way or another with verification issues. Every single team out on Zwift that I've commentated on, I want to say up front, for sure, has dealt with something within house that they had to go, hey, and approach a rider and say, and they've been really good about it, especially the long-standing teams, the ones that are out there that are a part of the service to the community in the way that they come together as a tight-knit community of teams that are competitive with each other but have a strong camaraderie. They've done a really good job of keeping each other in check. And so and if there is ever an issue there, a lot of the long-standing teams that are out there are pretty good at then working with somebody if they do have any kind of an issue with their setup. But, we'll leave that up to the Zada boys if they do need it, because we are getting comments. I do see the comments coming through, and to be straight with everybody, and just want to be straight with everybody. Need race history to review riders. CS Tricks is saying, yeah. So knock, knock, laugh out loud. Backlog from ZP being down for a bit. CS Trick is saying, so good to hear that you guys are paying attention there as always. So looking through some of the comments here. Holy 4 laps reverse. Good to see you tuning into the broadcast. Let's do a couple of question and answers as they come on through here. Good to see Julian in there. And we are seeing Waylon was Zwift Academy semi-finalist. Her attack was a matter of time. Lou Lona Anthony, thanks a lot for the info there. Appreciate that. Allison Kubota saying, I like seeing TT solo breakaways. And then Anthony also saying, go Vixen. Loving the new team out there today. Tim Fulford saying, loved that race. Good to see you there, Tim. Thanks for tuning in to the broadcast as well. Sorry we were not able to get a lot of the social media integration in there today. We had a couple of technical issues I was dealing with on the fly, and so it was a little bit more scattered. We had to leave a lot of the commentary to Mr. Quentin to fill the gaps while we were trying to deal with some of the dropout situation. See, we're over in the pens again, boys and girls. We're stuck in the padded room. We're not going anywhere. Throws us in the pens even at the end of the race. Oh my goodness here. So, okay, predictions for next race. I should wait to see who shows up. Yep, G Leo. It probably would be a good idea there. I've been to Swifting on my stages because can't trust it. Interesting. Daffod on the stages situation there. CS Trick saying rarely a team issue. Most teams will police themselves. This is true, Casey. I think we've all seen the teams, the longer standing teams, knowing how to deal with things internally. So, Quentin, any you racing CVR? What's going on?
Yeah, of course. In a little bit less than 2 hours in Zone F, I should be at the start. I haven't raced in a couple of weeks because of reasons, but yeah, I should be in the starting pen. I'm not saying I will be at the finish line, but I should be in the starting pen.
And I've got a race tonight as well. We'll see how that'll go for me. I'm actually racing in the I want to be racing in the H category, the late night.
In the H zone.
Yeah.
The H zone.
The H zone. Sorry, the H zone. Excuse me, H zone. We'll see how that goes. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. We're just trying to do a little Q&A here at the end of the race. I am watching Twitch chat. There's a lot of people chatting over at Twitch, actually. Thanks everybody who's head on over there. It's been great to see all you guys over there. If you haven't done so already, make sure to head on over there, make an account, follow the channel. That is where you can get all of our VODs. You get videos on demands there. You can watch them as well over on YouTube, but it looks like a lot of people are actually watching them on Twitch. You can also get live notifications. So every time we go live, it will give a push notification to your Twitch app on your desktop or your mobile app, as well as an email directly to your email saying Zwift Community Live just went live. So if you like this content, head on over there, hit the follow button, turn on notifications as well, and you'll be able to know anytime we go live. The other thing is we are doing a lot of community focus right now. And want to highlight the eCrit on Thursday. We are doing the Europe as well as the North American eCrit casts, except for the late West one. We're trying to focus in on other streamers in the community during that time. And Quality Streams will be hosting on Zwift Community Live, and we'll also be highlighting any streamers that are out there streaming of Zwift through either my personal channel or getting the community out there, hyping up Zwift on Twitch. And we did see G Leo, you were out there, as well as Anthony Porsche recently. I've seen Jay Levy out there doing some efforts as well in streaming. There's a lot of new Zwifters actually out there. So good to see you guys all jumping into the world. So for some reason we're getting chat spam coming through. We're gonna time out Zwift Community Live. Actually, can I time out Zwift Community Live? I can't time out myself, probably. I think Johnny is messing around with something and breaking things. Not sure what he's doing, but maybe if we're going to have cool new bots in the channel, we can monitor those bots if we're going to have them in the channel. But essentially, Johnny Knob and Zwift Community Live and Aaron Locks are having a very hurtful conversation between each other at this point. And this is almost hilarious to watch, actually, as it comes through. I'm not sure that I actually can ban Johnny. He's a mod as well. I'll see if I can actually open up can I boot a mod? I'm not sure if you can, but not sure that we actually have I'm just guys. All right, so we'll talk to you guys soon, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for Workout Wednesday. Quentin, thanks a lot for the broadcast. I really appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow, though, as Workout Wednesday is back. We'll be back every Wednesday with a workout after, I believe it will be immediately, actually 1 hour after SCR tomorrow. So 2 p.m. tomorrow, Workout Wednesday. Make sure to jump on in. And everybody, let Johnny know reality. He says he breaks nothing. Maybe take some GIFs and screenshots of how broken everything was there, because he seems to think he doesn't break anything. So it looks like it's still broken, actually. So we'll see. Quentin, thanks a lot for tuning in with us here today. It'd be interesting to see how this works out. A lot on the line with CVR, Quentin. I think, like you were saying, a lot of motivation, a lot of riders showing up.
Yeah, lots of motivation, and I think a lot of riders are very impatient to be, well, in the first race of the actual season, to see what they can do, and to see, well, I actually expect a lot more people to show up in January than in December, that already has very impressive numbers.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. It's the preseason, everybody. 4 weeks. And we've already got really big numbers, actually, in the CVR World Cup League. And so, again, this is the information here on it. The winter season starts on January 2nd. That's what we're leading into. 8 weeks, 2 halves, battling out best of 3 from those 2 halves. And then we'll be moving into the postseason for that final spot. 16 racers, it looks like, from each of the zones. So, all right, Quentin, that'll be it from us. Thanks a lot for tuning in with us and broadcasting with us as always. And we'll be back tomorrow with SCR as well as Workout Wednesday. My name's Nathan Garrett, coming at you from Zwift Community Live. Good job to all the racers out there as always. And always, as always, a big old ride on to all Zwifters out there. Cheers, everyone.